The Insider Gaming app is the fastest, cleanest, and most personalized way to stay connected to the gaming world. Anytime, anywhere. Get all your news in one place with fewer ads, more features, and a design built for how you actually read on your phone. And if that's not enough, unlock Insider Gaming Premium or Premium Plus for ad-free browsing, personalized feeds, weekly subscriber-only podcasts, and so much more. Download the Insider Gaming app today for free on Google Play or the App Store. Hello, everyone, and welcome into Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast. It is Friday, December 5th, 2025. Mike Stroud here, one of Insider Gaming's senior editors, with me, as always, by my co-senior editor, Grant Taylor Hill, senior producer, A to the P, Albert Perkins, and the one and only Gong Lord himself, Tom Henderson. Fellas, what a day and what a show we have today.
Woo! My goodness, man. Somebody's spending a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. My God. Woo.
How's everybody feeling today overall before we get into what we need to talk about?
That's it. Double thumbs up.
I love it, Grant.
People can't hear that, Grant.
All right. Not accessible.
People listening on the Spotify or the Apple Podcast or the Pocket Cast or the Amazon Music, or they just have YouTube playing in the background. That's how you can watch us live.
What is it they say in an interview with the police for the benefit of the tape? Grant Taylor Hill just did a double thumbs up. You know.
Well, I like to do things for those with benefit of flash photography, a 5-second pose. Someone will get the reference in the chat, I hope. Grant met the person who that's in reference to in an airport on the way to Gamescom.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Adam Copeland. What a guy.
For those with the benefit of flash photography, we will not pose for 5 seconds. Then they just pose in the middle of the ring. It's great. Of course, this is Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast coming to you live every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern here on Insider Gaming's YouTube channel. We are fast approaching 10,000 subscribers, likely to hit it next week. So thank you in advance for everybody who supports us on the video side. We are also looking to shape the future of Insider Gaming with the Insider Gaming Reader Survey. You can fill it out today. Takes a few minutes of your time and it helps us. Link is posted in the chat. But we got a lot to talk about today. We have Netflix submitting their bid and being selected to acquire Warner Brothers. There's a lot of moving pieces with that. Call of Duty and Skill Based Matchmaking is back in the conversation because a lot of people are screaming, "I told you so." Eidos Montreal has had layoffs, and there's a lot of changes going on. Plus, another little bit of Insider Gaming scoops coming later on for you. But we begin this week the way we do every week, and that is what you playing, anything new. AP, starting with you.
Yeah, man. So same old, but also I started diving into, I don't know if you guys have gotten a chance to play it. It's Ready. I think, is it Ready or Not? I think it's called
Ready or Not.
Yeah. I started diving into that this week, just a little bit. Man, I had such great memories while playing that game. I don't know if you guys ever played the game SWAT on the PC way back in the day. It. Oh, man, so good. That reminded me of that a lot. Maybe not necessarily as good from what I recall and from what I remember as SWAT was. I had a great time whenever I played SWAT. I was terrible at it, but had such a great job with it, working with your special weapons and tactics, of course. But man, it's really, really fun. I think it's something I'll return to every once in a while and get a chance to get into. It kind of satisfied my taste, slowly waiting for Splinter Cell to come back here, looking forward to that, of course, whenever that drops. But yeah, man, that's what I've been mostly playing here for the course of the past week.
Grant, how about you, buddy?
Oh, a bunch in the last week, actually. Arc Raiders.
What a shock.
No, there's more. So, yeah, Arc Raiders is the main one because I've finished it now. I'm basically done. I'm done as done can be. There's a new update coming out in the coming days, but for now, I'm done. I'm just helping out my friends with their missions and stuff, and just enjoying PvP. A bit of Tarkov, because 1.0 is, as we talk now, 2 weeks or so into 1.0, and there's a bunch of stuff coming out of that. There's people discovering some really interesting stuff that went up on Insider Gaming today. And then some random stuff like Stalker 2 dropped on PS5 a couple of weeks back. I've been playing that. There's a review specifically for the PS5 version as it stands now on Insider Gaming. I did review it when it came out last year and gave it glowing review because I thought it was really, really good. But now they've obviously had time to improve on it and polish it, and it's even better, which is great. And then randomly, really outside, out of left field, Watch Dogs Legion, which is strange, right? Because it wasn't a good game. But I played it, didn't like it. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it's, I mean, from my experience right now, I'm playing it again. It's very buggy, really buggy. People like spawning on top of each other and flying off into the distance and all kinds. People falling through the map. It's not great. But I went to London recently because I went to see Fallout Season 2. I saw the first 2 episodes in London. It was like a special screening. All the cast and crew were there. It was absolutely fantastic. But I was just walking around London and I was like, man, I want to play a game set in London, and my choices are very slim. And I was like, Watch Dogs Legion, because I never finished that. I only got a few hours in, so I booted it back up, and I'm playing it now. And it's like the replication of London is so authentic, it's crazy. So I'm really enjoying that. So kind of like 4 games, I think, in the last week, which is more than I've played in recent months. So it's a very diverse skill set right now. I've got lots going on.
Tom, how about you? Anything?
From one side of the scale to the other. I have been playing absolutely nothing.
Not even Battlefield?
I think I've played like 2 matches in the past 10 days. Well, since when I got back from Vancouver, I just haven't had the time, unfortunately. But I'm learning about games rather than playing them, so I guess that's good, I guess. But yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been playing. Yeah, for the job. Yeah, sometimes you forget that. We're journalists, but I just haven't, unfortunately, been playing too much. But been learning a lot about them. So hopefully we'll get into some of that in today's episode.
I've been playing Marvel Cosmic Invasion. That review went up on Monday. Fantastic game. Couple annoyances, but nothing that took away. Nothing that I don't expect to be patched within a week. It's such a good, if you're into old school arcade beat 'em ups, it is the perfect game to make you feel like you're playing a 1980s arcade game again, with added features. Their cosmic swap mechanic is incredible. I highly recommend it. I am also playing a new game for a preview event that I can't talk about yet, but December 12th is when my thoughts will go up on it. So it's a pretty enjoyable game. So far, we'll see. I've only played it for like an hour, and it's like a 4-hour session that I have available. So we'll see. And then there's a game this weekend that I'm playing. Haven't dove into, but I will when the kids go to bed. It's the beta weekend for Marvel Tokon. And I am so damn excited to dive into that, because that looks like the first true fighting game I will buy since Mortal Kombat 10. And we'll see what happens. You know what I'm not buying really today, though? I'm not buying Half-Life 3. Still not announced. Still no update. Still no movement. Valve is being Valve. So for everybody who keeps asking, there's nothing. There's nothing new right now. What is new are the stories we got to get to. But before we get to that, a reminder, this show is brought to you by the new Insider Gaming app, out now for free on Android and iOS. Simply search Insider Gaming on those devices or click the links in the description on this YouTube video. There's one for each store. You get access to fewer ads, no more than 2 per article, faster load times, news in the palm of your hand, push notifications. And you can also support Insider Gaming and keep us doing what we love with Insider Gaming Premium and Premium Plus. Get no ads, custom news feeds, custom push notifications, and special Discord perks and more. Premium Plus members also get access to new exclusive shows. Some first run, they'll be launched publicly at a much later time. Others are exclusive entirely to the show. Some of the shows we have, Insider Gaming Party Chat. We're working on getting that next guest lined up. Insider Access, the post show to Insider Gaming Weekly, goes up every Saturday. Maybe do it live for Premium Plus down the line. We're still working on that. There is Access Granted. The first one went up last week with Roger Craig Smith, and we have the next episode coming, and I'll ask Grant to tease that shortly. And the first partner podcast with the Iron Lords, Lords After Dark, went live last week. A weekly show with the guys from the Iron Lords, and they do a fantastic work, and they make sure you get your money's worth. I'll tell you that much. And they're a fun group to hang out and listen to. Check it out. Lords After Dark. First one was on the state of Xbox, and we will have a new one for you next week. But before we get into the news, real quick, Grant, who's episode 2 of Access Granted?
Episode 2? Oh, man. Who's episode 2? No, the episode 2 is... Wait, which order did I do them in? It's Tom. It's Tom. I'm on 4 now. I'm on 4 in the space of 2 weeks because we're getting a lot of people in. So it's Tom Mackay, the lead, Henry of Skalitz from Kingdom Come Deliverance and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, of course. And then we continue. Wait, just tease the second one, or do we want to go through the...
Hey, it's up to you, man.
It's up to you.
Well, you know
if
what?
You want to keep them hanging, or
let me segue, because Toxic put a question in the chat, right, asking about any news about Battlestate Games Russia 2028, and we got to talk about Russia because Russian money and whatever. But basically, there's nothing that I really know of. One of the endings to Escape from Tarkov is a bit of a cliffhanger and suggests a sequel, which I did an article about. And obviously Nikita has said that there's going to be other games set in the Tarkov universe, which is like what we know, right? But this is a big. I don't think I've said this anywhere yet, and this is early doors. You know, this is for extraction shooter fans. This is a really big thing, but it's almost locked in for Nikita Boyanov from Battlestate Games to be our potentially 5th or 6th guest on Access Granted. So it will be in the new year, but it's looking very, very likely. We've done a lot of coverage around Escape from Tarkov in the last year or two, and we're gonna dive deep with that guy. Hopefully, we can find out something about what they're working on next. So that'll be exclusively on Access Granted.
And you can trust Grant because he's a journalist who actually played the damn game.
2,000 hours.
And actually doesn't lie about how much he's played, but that's neither here nor there. We got to get to the big news of the day. And the big story today broke in the wee hours of the morning, which is so funny when a California company drops a news like this at 5 a.m. local time. Netflix is now set to acquire Warner Brothers in 2026. It will be done after Warner Brothers Discovery split to Warner Brothers and Discovery Global. Global will be the television networks and their sports assets. Warner Brothers includes everything else under the sun. It includes Warner Brothers Studios. It includes Paramount, or not Paramount. We'll talk about Paramount. It includes HBO Max. It includes all the film and TV franchises like Friends and The Big Bang Theory, TV production, anime, Harry Potter, DC, and despite confusion at the beginning, it does include all of Warner Brothers games. That means Rocksteady, TT Games, Avalanche, NetherRealm are all going to be, as of now, under the umbrella of Netflix. So the big question is, everything else aside, we're only here to focus on games. After all, it's Insider Gaming Weekly. What do you think this means for the future? And do you think with what Netflix Games has done over the years with their gaming division, ramping it up, cutting back, cutting out certain experiences, is this good, bad? There's still a lot to figure out, because I'll talk about what I was told when it gets to that. But we'll start with you, Grant. Do you think, what was your first thought on Netflix taking over the gaming wing? Should it clear every regulatory and be closed by Q3 of next year?
I mean, I don't know. I guess so. What's the precedent looking like for things like that? Like, what have we got to go on for an acquisition of that size? Like Microsoft, Activision?
That's the closest, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess.
But even that's a tech company and a gaming background acquiring, as opposed to they're acquiring for the IP and the films.
Yeah.
Games are just a throw in at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, it's a little known fact about me, but I work in television. You know, I've worked in television and broadcasting for the past 10 years, and I don't know, I don't actually know if the regulations are already tighter there when it comes to like monopolization. But I think historically, how much success have people had like lobbying against deals like this? How many deals have actually been stopped by like the FTC or whatever? Like how much has actually been?
There'll be fights, but
there will be.
My thought is
we've already had that. We've already had unions have come out saying that they're going to oppose it because they, you know, things like this always. We've said it before. Acquisitions of this size always lead to studios being closed, projects being cancelled, layoffs being made. It's just part and parcel because they spend what is it, $80 billion or whatever it is to acquire this thing. They're going to have to recoup that from somewhere, right? And it's not just going to be Stranger Things that's going to, you know, cover the losses or whatever. But yeah, I don't see anything knocking it, like derailing it. I don't know.
Yeah, the one
I haven't
thing
looked
is
into it too much from like the financial side, but
Paramount is pissed.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of reports that they're going to try a hostile takeover bid. But at the end of the day,
100 billion or something.
But at the end of the day, Netflix doesn't have, or Warner Brothers does not have to take it. The Paramount could do whatever they want. No one's going to force Warner Brothers to take the Paramount bid. The only reason Paramount's upset is because Netflix beat them, and they have Paramount is a company that's backed by the current administration of the United States, and it would be very easy for them to do it. Netflix and Paramount wanted the whole package, including the television networks and stuff. Netflix doesn't want that. They don't need that. So Discovery Global will be their own thing. So that's going to be interesting to see. There is a clause in the deal where if somehow it doesn't go through, Netflix has to pay Warner Brothers $4.5 billion anyway. So no matter what, Warner Brothers is getting money out of this.
Wow. But I know they were struggling a bit, weren't they? In any case, especially with the game and stuff. And you know, talking about like, oh, will Netflix do much with it? They've been in and out of it as you know, in any case. But like, has it been Netflix hasn't ever generated anything off their own back?
Not with gaming. They've tried, like they're just using a lot. They're putting games on the service, but they've had studios, they've ramped up, but then they've canceled projects. They were working on big single player games and then canceled those because they didn't like the direction and they changed their mindset.
But picking up something like ready made might be easier for them. But they're sort of what are they really buying into? Because we know the gaming side of Warner Brothers isn't doing too hot. So are they kind of like buying into, I don't know what the analogy would be, but they'd be investing in something that's not exactly stable anyway. So I don't know. Is anyone going to oppose it? Because they'd be like, nah, what, you're buying a broken product anyway. You knock yourselves out, you know?
Yeah, definitely. They seem to have like a bigger footprint in like mobile gaming. Netflix does. So maybe this is kind of like a way for them to kind of transition, or a path for them to get more into like the more, AAA quad A type games, right? I don't know.
But my immediate thought, Tom, I want your thoughts on this one. Like Grant brought it up. Like they have established studios coming in. They have Rocksteady, who is currently working by all accounts on the next Batman game. NetherRealm is working on their next fighting game, whether that's another Mortal Kombat game or Injustice. Yes, I could not think of the DC fighting game. One or the other. They're coming. Hogwarts Legacy 2 is a thing. Like these are things that are coming. And TT Games, they got Lego Batman coming. That's going to do huge numbers. TT Games is very trusting with the Lego IP. Netflix, this is the perfect opportunity for Netflix, I think, to put their stamp on it and let them do their thing and see what it goes before making any changes to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to, well, it is going to go one or two ways, right? Like they either are going to get the foot in the door with, I guess, like you said, Albert, they are very mobile heavy and that kind of thing. So this is either going to allow them to get the foot in the door with the AAA type, big console and PC releases and all that kind of good stuff, or they're just going to see the cost associated with game development and decide to bin them all. obviously the optimist in me says, like, hopefully they see the cross synergy between releasing a massive game and then probably pairing it up with a TV series release or something like that. You know, we've seen the success of a lot of big game adaptations now, like Fallout and stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they would look at a game like, if Rocksteady is working on a Batman game or Hogwarts 2 or whatever, to try and pair up those massive releases with some kind of TV series or something like that. But ultimately, I think, I think that ultimately Netflix are going to struggle, because I think, you've already said it, but they've dipped their toes in and out of the game development business, and it just hasn't paid off. And unless they get a massive library of games, like, they basically want to be Xbox Game Pass, right? Like, they want that amount of games and that quality of games to be able to, in my eyes, make a dent in that kind of subscription service world. And I just cannot see them doing that. Obviously there's going to be layoffs with this stuff. We see that with every major acquisition. It all depends on if those layoffs are going to be associated with, people having similar roles when the merger happens, like we've seen with Microsoft and Activision recently, when they had a massive round of layoffs initially. Or is the layoffs going to be associated because they just want out of the games industry? I read somewhere that they predict that Netflix will save $2 to $3 billion a year within 3 years of the acquisition. And well, how do you save that much money? One of the biggest parts is layoffs, right? So it's a difficult one. I think it will go through, as Grant said. That I've never really seen any major opposition to stuff like this, and
we're just in a weird time. That's the only thing that has me wondering. We're in a weird time with this, with the government in this country. So it's one of those things of, because of the Paramount relationship, like, Paramount is still going to be a festering thing, and this isn't supposed to close until the end of Q3 fiscal 2026, or Q3 2026, not fiscal.
Still some time then.
So there's still time for things to change. One thing that everybody is wondering about, and so am I, does this mean the Nemesis system will be brought back? Because if so, this is the greatest deal for gaming ever, and I will not I will not be opposed to it whatsoever. So, but there's a lot of more uncertainty. Netflix, so I had reached out to Netflix and Warner Brothers for clarification on this. Warner Brothers just confirmed, because there was some confusion when the press release first went out before the media call. Warner Brothers confirmed that, yes, the games are part of it. Netflix, when I asked straight up, like, are you guys, is there a plan to change anything? All their response was they have nothing to add at this time. So they're being very coy about it. Mainly, it might just be a case they don't know. There's not going to have the answers the day of, but by March of next year, we're going to see a lot of answers.
It's dire times, man. Sorry for cutting you off, Mike, but it's like, I'm just thinking of this deal, and then the EA deal, and the Saudi stuff, and then you've got Ubisoft is still struggling, and it's just like, man, this nightmare of reporting on layoffs isn't going to end, is it?
Nope, it's not. But this is another reason why support independent games. Basically, that's my thought. The nightmare is happening at the top, the AAA studios and the major studios. There are thousands of great independent games that you can play and check out. And speaking of those games, the independent games, the Indie Game Awards, I'm a judge of, so I'm going to cheaply plug that. You can find my results December 18th. You can see how I voted over at their YouTube channel. Topic number 2, Treyarch. This one we'll touch on quickly. Treyarch and skill-based matchmaking. Everybody online is saying, I told you so, because they're going to be in their patch notes for season 1. They promoted and said they're going to be pushing it more, basically, and moving it up the playlist because for engagement. And that's what they supposedly, they're not going to show the evidence of this. We just got to believe what they say. And we know they always tell the truth, that people are going to these skill-based matchmaking playlists. And now when you go into the game, once you get past the update loop on BattleNet, if you're having an issue, now you can go up and that's the top offering on the playlists are the skill-based matchmaking ones. So the question I pose to everybody here is, Are you shocked?
No. I don't know the episode where we talked about this, but if you go back to the episode, I think we predicted it like down to the T. Like, we knew that this was going to happen. It wouldn't surprise me if, by February there's stupid skins in the game and all of that crap, and it's just one of them. Like, whatever, it's Call of Duty at the end of the day, and they're just gonna keep doing it. I'm looking forward to the next, in 7 months, 8 months time or whatever, when the next one's gonna get prepared to be released, and they repeat all the same.
I'm so happy I didn't buy this damn game.
Yeah,
it's not good. Like, that's the sad thing. It's not a good game. People are just stuck in their ways, and they're gonna just look at it with Activision colored glasses.
What I will say, though, and I guess this goes back to the conversation that me and Grant had with Charlie Olsen, who was, one of the pioneers, I guess, of skill-based matchmaking within Call of Duty. And he said, at the end of the day, it's there for a reason. And I'm looking at this like from 2 points of view. Yeah, it's annoying for us, but at the same time, they're not going to incorporate it because it loses them money, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's been perfected for a number of years. It's just this whole, it's the whole, consumer communication side, which they're really not been good at. Yeah. I was going to use that word, but I realized that I said shit like 30 seconds ago. So, but yeah, man, like, I don't know. Going back, I think it was last week or the week before. I just think that Call of Duty needs a break.
Yeah, man.
They all do.
Yeah,
nice long one. Couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, people are looking and going nuts. Like, oh, look at Battlefield's player numbers. They're on Steam. Now, you don't get access to console, but look at Battlefield's their phone. They're still, because they're only getting like 166 or just under 200,000 basically concurrent a day now. They're still in the top 5. Or top right now, they're top 10 concurrents daily on Steam. Like, they're fine. Battlefield is fine. Like Call of Duty on Steam, more people do play on Battle.net, yes, but yesterday's Battle.net problems, like there's just a lot of issues. Like, you can look at the Steam numbers and admit the interest isn't as high as it was. Yes, people can play on their Game Pass. People can play on PC with the Game Pass. But it's one of those, the interest still isn't as strong, and the vocal minority is getting louder and louder by the day, to the point where you're going to see a lot of these changes happen, I think, solely out of desperation to try and figure out what do we got to do.
You know why no one's playing COD, right?
They're playing Arc Raiders.
Look at it. It's still 3rd on Steam, right? This game has been out now for almost 5 weeks, right? And it's still got 300,000 concurrent right now, when one side of the world is basically in bed and the other side of the world is like halfway through their workday. It's still got 300. It's the 3rd most popular game on Steam right now. And it's like 130,000 in front of 4th place, which is PUBG. And it's decimating everything. Like, this game just will not stop.
I still haven't picked it up. It's been sitting in my cart going, do I do it? Do I do it? And I still keep going, I've missed the window. I've missed the window. I've missed the window. But that window never seems to close until I buy it. And then it will.
Game of the year. Snubbed.
Speaking of Game of the Year, on Monday, exclusively in our Discord server, we will be opening it up to the Insider Gaming Community Awards. 6 awards you get to vote on, like last year. We did it in the forums last year, but we got the Discord now. Exclusively there. Arc Raiders is one of the games up for Game of the Year. The nominees were picked by the staff and curated by the staff, and then we open it to voting for the rest of December, or for a couple weeks in December, and then the last week of December, you will see the results posted at insidergaming.com and in the app. Download it for free today. Topic 3.
Number 30.
Eidos. Whatever you want to say.
I say Eidos.
It's whatever you want to call it, because they're dysfunctional right now. Eidos Montreal layoffs. Last week held more layoffs than at least a dozen people were let go based on public information. things aren't looking good there. I had exclusively reported at Insider Gaming when writing about the layoffs that the plans were they were going to focus on their work with they're focusing on the work with Microsoft on games like Fable and Grounded 2. But after that, there are already more plans forecasted for even more layoffs. So things aren't looking good. And then Tom the next day dropped the exclusive that a Legacy of Kain game was actually in development. And we have even more on what Eidos Montreal had been working on. Tom, I'm going to turn the floor to you.
Okie dokie. Right. Get ready.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so obviously the news broke, and I can't remember if it was like before or after you did your report, Mike, but then a couple of CVs surfaced from some employees which contained some unannounced projects, right? And then everyone jumped to conclusions of what they would be and all that kind of stuff. And one of those games was a Legacy of Kain game that was cancelled. But I guess one of the first things that I do want to stress, because I've seen quite a lot of like misreporting going around, is that all of those games listed on that CV, like the 3v3 competitive esports title, the point and click game, and I believe there was one more. What was it? Like a stealth type game. None of those were nothing to do with this round of layoffs. Just to be absolutely clear, that it just wasn't related to these ones. All those projects go back to around 2022 to 2024. Between that time frame, around the time the Deus Ex game got cancelled, and this round of layoffs is due to two individual things. First of all, they are working internally on quite a big project. I'm not going to mention the name of it or anything like that, but basically this big project is an open world action adventure third person type game, which is being created by the same team that did Tomb Raider. And it's been in development since 2019. It's gone through quite a lot of changes, and it's all going to be a bigger story to tell, further on down the line, I guess, when the game's released or whatever. But yeah, that game has been in development for 6 years, and internally it's called P11, which is the 11th project that Eidos Montreal has worked on. They are currently on P22. So that gives you an idea of the amount of projects that has gone through that studio since 2019 and have been cancelled because they haven't released anything since the Guardians game, right? So whenever that was, 2022, I think it was.
Yeah,
and that was P9, right? So that was Project 9. So they've
21 was Guardians.
Oh,
but
21,
either way,
yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, basically they've gone a hell of a long time without a game release, basically. And the layoffs are related to that project in particular because they are starting to ramp down the headcount now. So, conceptualization and all of the systems and all that kind of stuff has been complete. And they're gearing up for beta, and that game is scheduled to release next year. So they're whittling down the headcount of that particular project. As well as that project, there was also working on another game, which was a Lord of the Rings game. And it's pretty funny because, Mike, you've reported on a couple in the past couple of months, right? And
yeah, it seems like new game coming from this fund with Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, so it seems like Embracer at the moment, because they've got the rights to it, right? The Lord of the Rings.
The gaming rights, yeah.
So it seems like they're just trying to cash in on that particular IP. And, I don't blame them or whatever, but it was related to that project. It didn't really go far in development. It was like a Lord of the Rings card game with like a telltale spin, like a story spin on it, is how it was described to me. And the cancellations were related to that particular project. In other Eidos Montreal news for another project, because this is going up on Insider Gaming, as I say this right now, but I did also report on that they was working on Kojima's Overdose game, which is now called OD. So I believe it was 2023, just after, or just before, should I say, when they announced it at the Game Awards with Peele, whatever he's called, the comedian guy.
Yeah, Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. Yeah, so they announced it with him, and around that time, Eidos Montreal was working on OD. They had around 20 developers working on it at Eidos Montreal. And it was cancelled because I guess it is kind of weird. And you don't really hear this a lot, but it was cancelled because Kojima Productions wanted those developers to go and live in Japan. And not only live in Japan, but completely cut ties from Eidos Montreal, is what I was told. So, like, they would be completely segregated from, the teams that they've been working on for years, and basically the developers said no, so they're no longer working on it.
Yeah, no, we like our people, thanks.
Yeah. So I don't know. I found that particular thing interesting. I think OD was like P19 off the top of my head, which was started in early 2023 or whatever. So again, that gives you an idea of the timeline of games that Eidos Montreal have been working on. And there's still like 7 or 8 that are unaccounted for, right? And a cheeky little plug here, I am writing a book on cancelled video games. DSX will be a part of that. And I also do want to dive into these other projects a little bit more as well, just to kind of shed light on that particular studio. And I hope to do that with, as many games as possible, because it's really interesting stuff, and hopefully some lessons can be learned and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, that's kind of it. And I don't know who wants to chime in on all of that news. I know it was a lot to take, but yeah.
The Lord of the Rings thing is hilarious to me because we had talked about it before the show, just the number. Because, yeah, there's a new Lord of the Rings game. Amazon's MMO is likely done by all accounts and purposes. There's a new one in development, a new action-adventure Lord of the Rings game. Like, that is being targeted, what I was told when I reported it, to compete with the likes of a Hogwarts Legacy. So it's hilarious. Like, I think people underestimate how big the Lord of the Rings IP is and just how passionate that fan base is. I can tell you how passionate that fan base is. It was one of my most viewed articles of the year on IG. So that just can tell you that alone. If a Lord of the Rings story is at the top, I don't know. I'm just, the OD one kind of catches me off guard, but it's not surprising knowing how Japanese development usually works. They want to be ingrained in what they're doing.
Like,
exactly.
Part of it. Like, it's nothing. It shouldn't be taken as a negative for those listening. Like, that's just how business is done. If you're going to work on our project, you need to be invested in our project.
Yeah, it's the culture over there, right? Like, and it's a reason why a lot of Japanese games still don't get leaked to this very day. I mean, you'll get a few on occasion, but they are very like tight knit about that stuff. But if you're a Western developer used to a particular type of development, within games, you don't necessarily want to move all the way to Japan and be completely separated from everyone else, right? Like, a completely foreign country where you've obviously got very basic stuff, like problems like the language barrier and all that kind of stuff, and just the whole cultural shock of it all. But yeah, it is a weird one, and I guess with Embracer and Lord of the Rings, they probably like taking the Disney approach to the Star Wars IP, where at one point there was probably about 20 Star Wars games in development across various studios. So it's been whittled down quite a bit now. But at one point, I think I reported on it as one of the first articles ever on Insider Gaming, actually, is that they wanted a Star Wars game every 6 months from all the various studios. And it seems like Embracer's trying to go down that route of trying to pump out as many games as they can while they've got the rights. I don't know how long the rights last. But yeah, we've seen in the news lately that Embracer are not doing too hot, so they probably just want to cash in as much as they can on the IPs that they own.
I mean, they're not doing too hot. That's one way to put it.
To say the least.
There's so much that I can't even talk about right now. Like looking at my emails and the messages I have of the stories I'm working on about Embracer and what's going on with their studios, to where it's just like it's not going to be better. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. Speaking of, exclusives and scoops, I got one that comes across in the category. I had two, but one I'm holding back on because I need to have a conversation this weekend about it. And it's a pretty interesting one at that. The one that comes across more as a no duh to many, but some may have been holding out hope. There's this franchise that launched in 2008 called Dead Space. And people have been hoping for another game of some sort, another remake, another reboot, a new sequel. Don't. Dead Space, what I've been told is Dead Space, all the internal messaging points to the IP being, quote, on ice, and that with the way current leadership and the direction they're going, they don't expect it to be picked up whatsoever. There have been some internally who have worked on the series hoping that EA with the new ownership would want to sell it. And the reason they think, now this isn't saying EA is looking to sell it. This is from talking to a couple still current employees at EA. They're hoping it gets sold solely because EA is going to, the new ownership, should it go through with the public investment fund, who will own over 90% of EA, and they're reportedly to be struggling on the money side now because of this deal. They're going to look to cut costs and recoup pretty quickly, it seems, that this would be something they do to make up some of that money. They sell the full rights to the Dead Space franchise, and we get it that way. But EA, as of now, has zero plans to bring back Dead Space in the near future.
To be honest, it's not surprising. I think even Glenn Schofield at one point said that he tried pitching EA Dead Space 4 or whatever, and it just didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, EA are in an interesting predicament at the moment with all of their IPs, even without the acquisition, though, right? Because EA very much went all in, so to speak, apart from the EA Sports stuff with Battlefield. And I think now that they've seen the success of that, they're going to want to do more. And again, cheeky plug of the cancelled video game book. Man, this needs to come out now. Like, it's going to be so ironic if I have to cancel the book about cancelled video games. But in that book, there is a few projects, for a few Respawn projects and stuff like that, and maybe the Black Panther game and various other games within that. And a lot of people do believe that those projects, or a lot of those projects, was cancelled because that EA was kind of trimming all the fat and making themselves as much as an appropriate target for an acquisition. And I think that's very much the case. I don't know if they would sell the IP. I think it's very rare for IPs to be sold. Like, I can't really think of one as of late that's been major, apart from Hytale, selling it back to the original creators. The Minecraft-like game from, well, it got bought out by Riot Games, and then Riot Games sold it back because they cancelled it. And like, apart from that, I just don't see, like, how much is the Dead Space IP realistically going to sell for?
Not
like,
what people, the fan. It's one of those games where it would sell okay, decently enough to make some money, but it's not the major hit that people, I think their fan base might think it is. Though most of their fans know what they get with Dead Space. But EA, from a thing, it's not going to be like the major money maker for them. So
Yeah, I mean, it's not just like, I think people just think, oh yeah, well, if they sell the IP for 400 million, then that's great. But then you've got to think, right, well, now you've got to slap on another 200 million to make the bloody game. And is a Dead Space game gonna do 12 to 15 million copies? Yeah,
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I just studios like to hold on to their IP because it helps.
Part of
it
their
helps
identity.
it helps their portfolio at the end of the day. But who knows, right? Like it's all just a waiting game. There's so much waiting on a lot of this stuff.
As we wind down for this week's show, one thing that we could talk about real quick too, and we've seen in the chat, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. We had reported that the plan was to release in January. There was belief from sources that because of that release plan, a logical next appearance would be at the Game Awards. But this week, the official account for the game said they will not be at the Game Awards. Does that surprise you with a plan to release in January? Or do you think because it got out, they've decided to change their plans entirely?
What I will say is that the belief that it was going to be marketed in December is not correct, because it was actually true that they are, I guess, are or was it, I don't really know, because they could still market it in December, right? But I have the marketing plans for Prince of Persia. Like it's not something that was just we think it's going to happen then. I have the plans, or what were the plans for it to start marketing in December. It was, I think you even said it in your original report, Mike, but the sources believed that it would start, or it would be at the Game Awards, simply because it said December, which is completely logical, right? I don't see why that is super far-fetched. Now that it isn't, or they're saying that it isn't, again, it would be a nice surprise if they did or whatever, but it could mean anything. It could mean that they're not going to do it then. It could mean that they are going to just do it then. It could mean that they're going to shadow drop it. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But Ubisoft is one of those very traditionally they haven't been difficult to like report on, because they was just doing whatever. But even with Shadows, right? Like I reported Shadows was going to release on X date, and then they delayed it last minute. So it wouldn't surprise me if something like that has happened or whatever. I simply just need to ask, right? And get to the truth of it all. Obviously, we had that leak as well of the videos like from 18 months ago, and a lot of people were pissed off at is she called Farah, the princess?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. And like they were pissed off that she has like more control this time. Like you don't really need to defend her like in the old one. Maybe Ubisoft has seen feedback on that and decided to pull back. There's so many different reasons, right? Like why plans change, and truthfully, I just don't know the answer at the moment. But hopefully, in the next week or so, I'll either get the answer or it'll just turn up. Who knows?
I think a shadow drop would probably be best. So many people are worried about it, but I think a shadow drop would be best, because it's that mindset of, oh, it's out now, let's get it. And it's kind of just what they would do. I don't know. I feel like the shadow drop they saw what Oblivion did. Granted, Oblivion was a much bigger game, but I feel like Ubisoft, this would be the perfect game to try it with.
Yeah, I mean, it is still a decent IP. I think we've got to remember as well, like Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown didn't have that much marketing behind it as well. It did do relatively well compared to the development budget, but Ubisoft being Ubisoft still decided to can the sequel. And yeah, like a shadow drop makes sense. I think it could do well. And doesn't Microsoft usually have like a developer director around that time?
Yeah, in January. Yep. And
before this goes up on Reddit, I'm not saying it's going to be there, but it could be, right? Like, who knows?
I mean, it's usually, it's showcased it, and it's usually a mix of first and third parties. But yeah, they've done it every January since 2023, and we expect another one. There's no reason to think they won't do another one in January 2025. Because I'm assuming that's where we'll also get a look at Forza Horizon if the rumors of being out in the first half of 2026 are true. So I'm super I don't know. I'm interested and nervous about what Ubisoft's planning and what they'll show at the Game Awards. And speaking of the Game Awards, on this week's episode of Insider Access, our exclusive post show for Premium Plus subscribers to Insider Gaming, we're going to be talking about the Game Awards. We're going to be giving our thoughts, our predictions, and what the hell that stupid statue could possibly mean. All that will be on there. It goes up Saturday morning exclusively in the Insider Gaming app for Premium Plus subscribers. Download the app at iOS and Android, Google Play, the App Store today. AP, Grant, y'all have been super quiet through these discussions. I know you don't want to interrupt, but what do you got to add, man? We're running down.
I know, right? Like, you're not just pretty faces. Come on.
I don't know,
You're
man.
neither of them pretty faces.
I'm saving the juice, man. I'm saving the juice for Insider Access, man.
I like that tease, Grant.
You guys want my takes, man.
No, I was letting Tom have the stage there with that scoop. That was some very, very interesting stuff, especially the game that's been going down since, what was it, Project 11? I mean, and the fact that we haven't had a game from Eidos Montreal since 2021. I mean, obviously, whatever they're cooking up, it has to be something good. I'm very curious to know if it is an IP that is,
it's a new IP.
Oh, okay. It's a new IP. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to put a massive. I don't want to put like a massive downer on the game, but from those that I spoke to, they just don't feel like it's gonna, be this next like $1 billion game, right? Like it just isn't really gonna be. I don't want to say anything special because that's pretty. That's terrible. But like they basically don't think that it's going to recoup costs because like they've had several hundred people working on this for 6 years. It's gone through multiple engines like Unreal 4 and 5, and I think it went through Unity at one point, and it's just been kind of like all over the place. But yeah, it's like a third-person action adventure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what genre it was. Okay.
I would say like if you like Monster Hunter.
Oh, never mind.
You might like this, but without like the massive sword or whatever. So yeah, if you like riding animals,
that's
right. I'm gonna stop. All
right. Speaking of stopping, that's where we stop this ride. That is Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast exclusively here on YouTube and on demand on all your favorite audio platforms. Thank you, by the way, to those listening. We did have some news this week that we are in for our first year. We are fastly approaching the 1 year mark of this show. We were in the top 10% of all video podcasts on Spotify. We were a breakout instant hit show where our first year, did better than 97% of other new shows on the platform. And we can't thank you enough for helping do that with Insider Gaming Weekly, guys. This was a show where we had talked about it for some time, finally did it, took a while to get us in our groove, but we are becoming, it's becoming my favorite hour of the week and then some. And again, thank you so much. Everybody listening, give yourselves a round of applause as well. You can find Insider Gaming at all social media, Insider Gaming IG, insider-gaming.com on Blue Sky. We're on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, the Tick of the Talk, and of course YouTube and our Discord channel. Links in the description for social media platforms. AP is at the weekly wrap up. Grant is at newcov _. Tom is at _Tom_Henderson_. Yeah, I remembered it. There's 3 of them.
Impressive. Yeah.
I am at Mike Straw Media on all platforms. And without any further ado, AP, the floor is yours. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate that. And guys, don't forget to download the Insider Gaming app, of course, available now on the Google Play Store and on the Apple App Store. For Mike, Grant, and Tom, I am, of course, your host with the most A to the P, Albert Perkins, and we will see you on the inside.